Hey friends, I just wanted to hop on and tell you a little bit about one of my favorite series, A Shade of Vampire. It is about 92 books long at this point, so it's got seasons. It's 6 to 8 books a season, and I read this book on live last weekend, but I also wanted to do a video, a little preview. Well, not preview because it's a review. It's a review of what I have already read because some of y'all may have missed it. It is by Bella Forrest. It is about a girl named Sophia whose parents are trash, pretty much. Mom ends up in a psychiatric ward. At least that's the story. And dad buries himself in his work, which is finding lost artifacts and authenticating them. At least that's his story. So she lives with her best friend and his family, the Hudsons. His name is Ben Hudson. He is a football player. Sophia, since being pretty much abandoned, gets overwhelmed in crowds and loud places and kind of just shuts down. We have been to a few doctors, actually many doctors, and have many different diagnoses because everyone just contradicts everyone else. So we don't really know why, But Ben, at a young age, kind of figured out how to get her out of her mindset, and she's kind of figured out what triggers her mindset. At least in the beginning of this, what triggered it, one of her attacks was thinking of her mother and the last memory she had of her mother. So in the middle of the football game, he comes up to her and he kind of tells her, you have to actually sit up, you have to be okay and act like you're okay because you're embarrassing yourself pretty much. And he's like, she literally can't. She's like, my body's not letting me move at all. So I'm just gonna lay here. And he goes, no, don't dupe yourself into thinking you're the victim. Get up and sit in the chair correctly. So as soon as he said that, her body kind of relaxed its tense state, and she got up and sat back down and watched the football game. So when it came vacation time for the family, she decided, Ben's been in my life for many years. He's my best friend. I can't think of anyone better than Ben. I'm going to tell him that I'm in love with him day one of the vacation. So they go out they go to Cancun, get the hotel all set up and get settled in, and then go out to dinner. And at the end of dinner, she's like, hey, Ben, you want to go walk on the beach? And he asked his parents, and of course they said yes. And when they're walking on the beach, that's when an ex-girlfriend shows up. And she's like, Ben, can we talk in private? I really got to talk to you. So Sophia goes back to the hotel, all brokenhearted because Ben chose someone else over Sophia. And Sophia doesn't get a chance to tell him how she really feels. So when Ben, hours later, comes back, he tries to talk to her and tell her that, he's back with Tanya, and Tanya wants him to spend the rest of their vacation with her. So that's that. He's going to spend the next 3 to 4 days with her, with Tanya. And Sophia's like, but he's going to miss my birthday. That's her first thought, is he doesn't even remember my birthday. So she gets upset and runs off back to the beach and realizes that there's a lot of people there. So she runs to the other side of the beach where there's not a lot of people, and she can have some semi peace and quiet because of the waves, whatever. And that's when she meets Lucas. Lucas is Derek and Vivian's older brother. Derek and Vivian are vampires, and Lucas is a vampire. And Lucas takes Sophia back to the Shade, where vampires are given sanctuary. So Lucas kind of obsesses over Sophia because he's the one who stole her, so he thinks that she should belong to him. But Vivian and Corinne, the witch, and everybody believes that Sophia was meant for Derek. Derek is Derek Derek is supposed to bring vampires a true sanctuary once he meets the woman that is going to help him do that. And Corinne and Vivian are the only ones who actually know this. So way back when Derek got overwhelmed and was like, okay, I brought y'all to the Shade. I built the Shade up. Y'all have fun with this. He went to Corinne's ancestor at the time, the witch of the Shade at the time, and Cora, and was like, I gotta get out of here. I've got to escape all of this. Put a sleep spell on me so I don't wake up from this. And Cora did, only she tacked on an end that he never actually knew about. And so when he is supposed to meet the woman that is going to help him bring true sanctuary to the vampires, he's going to wake up. And it just so happens that on Sophia's birthday, he wakes up. So Sophia and a few other girls are brought to Derek right before he wakes up. And the minute he does, he gets very angry because he's awake. 1, he was not supposed to wake up. And 2, humans are right there. He hasn't had anything, or should I say anyone, to drink in for centuries. So he has to try to fight his thirst with 5 humans in the room. And he kind of lets the darkness take over for a second, because the darkness is so powerful and he can't really control it because he hasn't had the practice in 400 years. So he puts Sophia up against a wall and his fangs come out, and Sophia's like, you can control this. You don't have to actually do this. And Derek's like, the thirst is too strong. I can't stop. And she goes, don't dupe yourself into thinking you're the victim, Derek Novak. You can control your thirst. You can control the darkness, which snaps him out of it, just like it snaps her out of all of her anxiety. So that's when he realizes that Sophia is more important than just some ordinary human girl, which surprises everybody, considering nobody thought that any of the girls were actually going to survive that night. They end up living in Derek's penthouse, where he has a few days to gather his thoughts and get settled in, and then he has to go back to ruling the shade, which he hates doing. He ran away from that the first time, so yay. In the short time that he has all his free time, though, he spends it with Sophia, where she literally teaches him how to use every technology ever. First, she starts out with a cell phone and teaches him, how to text, how to make calls, all of the things. And then she moves on to what a refrigerator is. Yeah, all technology. And then what a toaster is. And then they move on to television and DVD players. Yes, DVD. That's how old this book is. Anyway, so as she's teaching him all of these things, they are growing closer and closer together and really enjoying each other's company. And he is really protective of her. He doesn't really let her out of his sight. And he knows that, he's going to have to at some point. So the first time that he does, his brother Lucas attacks her and terrorizes her. And that's when Derek is like, you have to be able to protect yourself when I'm not around. So I'm going to teach you how to do exactly that. And his siblings catch him teaching her how to stake a vampire. And they're obviously terrified that why should she know this? I mean, why should she know how to do this? And he's like, because I'm not going to be around to protect her all the time, so she's got to learn to defend herself. And she's not going to intentionally attack anybody unless it's in self-defense. So I can trust her. And so he continues the lesson, And that's when she's like, well, can the other girls join in? Because they need to be able to protect themselves too. And at that point he says no, but later on he says yes. Because, well, we'll get to that later. So, while she's learning how to protect herself, in the weeks that it takes, Lucas continuously terrorizes her, not really in front of Derek, but kind of in front of Derek, if that makes sense. Like, he'll go up to her and whisper stuff in her ear, and all of a sudden she's like really scared and tense, and Derek's like, what just happened? Oh, nothing, it's nothing, don't worry about it. That math don't math, but okay, whatever, he lets it go. Then one day, she is coming back to the penthouse from a walk around the shade or whatever, and a blonde vampire is there. And she's like, why is there another vampire here? Like, why is there another woman I don't know here? And she kind of gets jealous because she's starting to actually fall for Derek. And the other vampire kind of steps to the side or whatever, and that's when we see Ben. So Ben has been on the island since Sophia's been on the island. They got stolen on the same night, because after Sophia was stolen, and Ben went to go look for her, and the blonde Claudia kind of took him off the beach too, and took him to the island. But the problem is that not everyone is as nice and protective of their human pets as Derek is with Sophia and the other girls. Because if something happens to the other girls, then Sophia's gonna blame Derek. So, can't have that. So when Sophia sees Ben, they kind of, hug and reunite, and Derek's like, you know what? I'm the Prince of the Shade. You're here so you can honor my greatness or whatever. And so if you would, just grant me one request. And Claudia goes, okay, what is that? And Derek goes, give me the boy. So that Sophia will be happy. Just give it. And she goes, I don't really want to give this one up. He's a lot of fun. And Derek goes, but are you really going to deny your prince this request? And she goes, no, you can have him. I've got too many to know what to do with anyway, so losing one is not a big a deal. Well, during the time that Sophia and Ben have at the Shade together, Ben is a completely different person than what she remembered before the Shade. Ben's experience is not as nice as Sophia.